Joining us now from U.S. Staffing Agency, Jim Dolson and Ben Jones. Good morning, guys.
Tim, you interrupted a good conversation about Monty Python.
That's right.
Yeah, there was a Monty Python clip in there, and that kind of got us.
Oh, now we got to go. Now we got to talk about real stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Like football.
Football coming
so
up.
Do you guys come out in favor of one team or the other, or do you try to stay in the middle, or what?
There is no middle for Jim Dolson. I am all about the U of M side and unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
So you're in that camp that says somebody's going to be blue after this.
I'm in the camp that always embarrasses myself when I talk about it too much and then we lose. And that could happen this weekend. So
I tend to follow with Michigan State, but I went to Northwestern, so it's
okay.
Big Ten. That's
so
where
he doesn't count. I'll translate. He doesn't.
Well,
count.
So Tim, we're going to kind of segue into what.
Yeah.
What is the biggest mistake that you're willing to admit to on air that you have made at work?
I don't think I can admit to the one that popped into my mind. So yeah.
So those still remain a secret to those you work with.
Yeah.
That'll be your retirement speech.
Right.
Well, we're starting off today's show with a list of workplace blunders. For me, one of the worst mistakes I ever made was when I worked as a line receiver at Sunnybrook RV. I was unloading an entire truck of laminate flooring, and evidently my forks were leaning a little bit too far forward, and all the flooring slid right off my tow motor onto the water main coming into the warehouse. And it caused a slow leak, and I thought when they were going to take this off, that thing was just going to blow.
Like a Band-Aid being ripped off.
Right, but it didn't. And I kept my job, so that was good too.
Well, that's embarrassing. But this next little story is a little bit embarrassing too for this poor teenager. So a 16-year-old teen was serving as a waiter at a wedding reception. First of all, I'd have to question like whoever thought a 16-year-old would make a good waiter. But anyways, at a wedding reception, he was asked to pour champagne at the bride and groom's table. Probably another big mistake. And well, being 16, he had neither poured champagne that he was willing to admit to, I would think. He neither poured it or opened it ever before. And he managed to dump half the bottle of champagne all over the bride immediately after conking her in the head with the face, with a cork. So his tip wasn't very high that day, I don't think.
I'm going to say he was immediately relieved of the bride and groom's table.
Yes.
So, well, maybe these employees in these examples were distracted from keeping their focus on their job, at least the immediate task at hand. And in fact, Tim, that's our topic this morning, being distracted at work.
Like us coming into your studio is kind of like a distraction to you every Thursday.
It's a bit of a distraction, sort of like the internet and cat videos.
There you go. That's right.
So today we're discussing an article from the Harvard Business Review. It was published back in August, and it's titled 4 Strategies for Overcoming Distractions.
Yeah, according to this article, the average person gets distracted or interrupted every 40 seconds. So we literally can't work an entire minute.
That means people listening to us are getting distracted about 4 times in the course of this listening.
Or we're distracting them from their work.
No, wait, what was that?
But what's worse is this research said that sometimes in those interruptions, it takes sometimes up to 20 minutes to refocus.
We're destroying the work culture.
How are we getting anything done in America?
In Battle Creek, we're just taking work culture right now. It turns out that we humans are hardwired for distraction. Whenever we see something new that is interesting to us, it's threatening, or it's novel, our brain is flooded with this chemical response that it just encourages us to turn our attention away from what we're doing.
That's right. So this article gives us 4 strategies to employ to help curb the number of distractions that we usually would entertain throughout the workday.
Yeah, so this first one is kind of a funny one. Create a distraction-free ritual. So that means creating an environment that is less prone to distractions, which can be challenging if you work like in an open office workplace or a noisy production floor. So Tim, Ben and I were wondering if you get a lot of distractions here in the studio as you're talking and working. It's pretty quiet in here.
They know better than to kind of crash in and interrupt us. Although sometimes people will walk by the window in the hallway and make faces and lewd gestures. They try their best.
Rank never does that, I'm sure. Well, the second strategy that you can employ is what the author calls the rule of 3. Now, really, this is just a super fancy way of saying make a priority list. But the idea is make that list and limit that list to the top 3 things that you want to accomplish that day.
Yeah, that's right. And then this next strategy is to work on the hard stuff and do more of it. So the idea here is that sometimes we get distracted because we're not being challenged enough in our current task. In other words, we get bored and we start looking around for something else to do. So do more of that hard task stuff and you'll likely not be bored and you'll stay focused. You won't lose interest.
Yeah. The last strategy that we're going to talk about is is set artificial deadlines. And really what this is talking about, for example, maybe you have a deadline for the report that you got to give is at the end of the week. Well, instead of the end of the week, give yourself until the end of that day. That will help repel some of those.
This is the lie to yourself strategy.
Yes.
But I like all of these, though. I think they're all good suggestions, proactive.
And they work.
Yeah,
they work.
They do work.
So listen, maybe your current job isn't challenging you enough and you are constantly finding other things to distract you because you're bored. Let US Staffing Agency, go to usstaffingagency.com, be that next distraction on your web browser. We had to plug that in there.
Yeah.
We have I'm hoping our website gets flooded right about
Right now.
We have a long list of employers who are looking for team members that want meaningful work. Or if you're an employer that needs to replace some of those extremely distracted workers, call us. We work both sides of this equation, by the way. So we have a long list of available team members who are looking for a new career. Then tell the folks how to contact us.
Well, Tim, if employers and potential team members want to talk with us, they can find us at Facebook at US Staffing Agency. They can live chat with us on our website at usstaffingagency.com, or they can come into our Battle Creek location at 914 Columbia Ave. Our phone number there is 269-589-6507. And our non-distracted team members will help you when you
Hopefully
call.
they're not distracted when
That's
you
right.
call.
Yeah, I saw one of your folks down. You had a booth at our job fair
Yes.
yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, we were there.
Down at Full Blast, and so I was chatting with her a little bit and chatting with everybody down
Yeah.
there. There were
Did it
lot
go
of
well?
people down there. I think it went very
Yeah.
well.
Nice.
Nice.
And we had the first hour, just for veterans, so they kind of had the run of the place. And then after that, people started flowing in. And I think the nice thing about that time of the day is, certainly people who don't have a job and really need a job, they can come pretty much any time. But people like we're talking about here today that like a different challenge or a change of scenery or something different in their life, well, they still have to go to work during the day.
Yep.
Chance to slide out and check out some new opportunities. And, we know the job market's tight right now in Michigan.
Very tight.
That's why you need professionals who can help you do the legwork and
That's us.
screening and, make
That's what
some
we do.
judgment calls. Absolutely.
Yep.
U.S. Staffing. Give us that info one more time.
All right, we're at 914 Columbia Avenue is where our office is located, and that phone number is 269-589-6507.
All right. Jim, Ben, thanks again for joining us today on the program. We'll talk to you again next week.
Sure.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah,